I don't usually do any videos when it comes to TNA, but I'm only doing this video today because I saw the contract signing between Kalani Jordan and Indi Hartwell, and I'm only going to be focusing singly on this segment and this match up and coming for Bound for Glory. And today I'm here to tell you guys why Indi Hartwell needs to win the TNA Knockouts Women's World Title, whatever they want to call it, Knockouts title, whatever they want to call it. But Indi Hartwell needs to win. There's really no debate. I know some people will say Kalani is a better wrestler than her. You know, I know a lot of fans, when Indi was in WWE, a lot of fans didn't really get the hype of Indi Hartwell. A lot of fans in WWE thought she was bad. You know, they didn't think she was all that great, and that's perfectly fine. You have your own opinion. But I think Indi Hartwell is incredibly talented. And I'm not saying that just because she's from Australia. Because I know a lot of people seem to think I have a lot of bias when it comes to these kinds of things. But Indi's really good. She's a great wrestler. And, you know, a few mistakes in the ring doesn't make you a bad wrestler. But, you know, that's how modern society works. But a part of me doesn't think Indi's going to win. A part of me wants Indi to win, but a part of me doesn't think she will. I know she's in this ongoing feud with Dani Luna, because I've been paying attention to that. And I know Indi's match with her ended in a DQ once. It's almost like now TNA is implying WWE's booking involved. Oh, you got two... You got your popular new red hot signing in Indi Hartwell and your recent heel turned Dani Luna in the ring. What do you do? What do you do? Do you have one of them win? Do you have one of them lose? No, we should protect them and go with a DQ. But in that case, I can probably get it, because Dani Luna did recently turn heel and Indi is one of their biggest signings in a while. But again, I just think since Indi is in this feud with Dani Luna, a part of me thinks Dani Luna is going to screw Indi out of the title. Now, they could do the feud with Indi as champion, which is what I would muchly prefer, but I could probably see them going the route of someone is either going to screw Indi over. I just don't think Kalani being the champion. Look, I like Kalani, okay? I do like Kalani. I do think she's a pretty talented worker. But I was really looking forward to Indi and Ash by Elegance. I was really looking forward to those two wrestling, because they never worked together in WWE. They never wrestled each other once. So I was really looking forward to actually seeing what they could have done together in the ring. But, well, I guess Indi Hartwell's never worked with Kalani Jordan either. So I guess, I should look forward to that. I mean, yeah, I am looking forward to it, but again, I feel like the only result I really want here is an Indi Hartwell win. Is that she wins the match, she brings the TNA Women Knockouts title back to TNA where it belongs, and it stays there, and it stays in TNA. But the other reason why Indi Hartwell winning could be considered a bad thing is that now she would probably have to be more involved in the whole TNA WWE partnership. Because WWE has the main titles of TNA involved in big storylines with, you know, their top talent. So I personally believe that if Indi won the title, they would want her more involved in the TNA partnership. She'd have to start turning up more in NXT. And if they want to have her feud with an NXT wrestler, then she'd have to... Well, I don't think she has to. Personally, I don't think she has to be involved. I personally don't think she has to. I feel she doesn't have to be involved. Like, if you want a WWE wrestler to feud with her, just have them go to TNA. Just have them go to TNA. Just, like, there's nothing wrong with having certain wrestlers be exclusive to their show. Like, I don't think, like Nick Namath, Dolph Ziggler, he hasn't turned up once during the whole TNA WWE partnership thing. He hasn't appeared once. the system. You don't see them involved. You don't see the system involved, being Eddie Slapnut Edwards and his girlfriend, Alicia Slapnut Edwards, and you don't see. Oh, I know Moose has, but yeah, I don't really see a reason in Indi being there. She doesn't have to be there. She doesn't have to be involved. Like, not everybody needs to be involved. And I know they had their NXT TNA show, which, you know, I will admit I was quite surprised that there was nothing major on the line. I definitely thought it was going to be leading to WWE eventually buying out TNA, which, you know, I will admit I was surprised that anything major happened. It was just two companies having a nice little back and forth, and that's fine. That's fine. That to me is fine. As long as there's no company buy-ins, no one company going out of business, it's fine. As long as no companies are getting taken out of business and not ones are being bought or anything, then it's fine. Then this is perfectly fine. Because that was my main concern throughout this entire WWE relationship with TNA, that they were going to try and buy them out. Like, oh, we want your talent. We're going to take all your talent. And do all that. And it's kind of funny that all of TNA's members were people that used to work in WWE outside of Kalani Jordan, like that, the Iconics and Jakara Jackson there. Like, not even one original TNA wrestler there, like Danny Luna or Geordie Threat. You know, not one original TNA star. Not one TNA original who's been there from the beginning. And they only just had people that worked for WWE on the team. And yeah, it was cool to see the Iconics back. And it was cool to see hear the Iconics theme again. Yes, it was cool. I'm not gonna deny it. It was cool to hear the Iconics music again. Femme Fatale. The good old CFO soundtrack and I was more surprised they didn't use the Inspirations theme. I'm guessing they probably don't have the rights to it. Or maybe they just decided to use their WWE theme. Regardless, yes, it was cool to hear good old Femme Fatale again. It was nice to hear it again. But man, that Jakara Jackson, man, you can see why she sucks. You can see why they got rid of her. God, she just sucks. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. We're getting off topic here. You get why she sucks. You get why they got rid of her. She just flat out sucks. But yeah, I think I'm just a little bit bothered that not even one original TNA star from the women's side were on the team. It was just everyone who was a former WWE star. And it would have been the same thing with Indi Hartwell if she was on the team. Like, oh look, ex-WWE talent on TNA's team. And it would have been the same thing with Ash by Elegance as well. Like, but I get it. It's WWE. What do you expect? Anyway, but yeah, I truly believe Indi should win this. Mainly because I think it's time for TNA to actually have their damn women's title back. I mean, they finally got it back when Ash won it, and then she had to vacate it and probably has to retire from in-ring competition. And then it goes back to in the hands of WWE. So Indi Hartwell needs to win, simply so TNA can just have their damn title back, and just leave it there. Do not have Indi Hartwell go to NXT. Don't have her randomly drop it to frickin' Nikita Lyons or whatever, or friggin' anyone, or Jada Parker. Yeah, let's have Indi Hartwell lose to Jada Parker or Lola Vice. Even though I like Lola, but no. I know TNA got the tag titles being the Hardy Boys, but it's the Hardy Boys. Like, what else did you expect? Like, did you think the System were gonna win? Like, were they gonna give the tag titles to the System? Were they gonna give them to Cardona and Kurt Hawkins? No way. Of course, it was gonna be going to the Hardy Boys. I'm not surprised. Of all the TNA talents to bring a WWE belt to TNA, no shocker, it's the Hardy Boys. No surprise whatsoever. Oh, I think it's about time that TNA kind of get some momentum back. I think TNA need to get some momentum back. And the best way to do that is to have Indi win the Knockouts title. Trick Williams drop the TNA World title to Mike Santana. So now TNA can have both of their world titles back. That's how Bound for Glory needs to end. Bound for Glory needs to end with TNA getting their titles back. Is it going to happen? Probably not. Probably not. I can see Indi Hartwell just flat, like, I could even see Indi Hartwell flat out losing the match. Like, even if there's no outside interference from anybody, I could just see Indi Hartwell flat out losing the match anyway. Same thing with Mike Santana. That's the thing with WWE. When you feel like the time is right, they don't strike when the iron is hot. And look, I know you guys are saying, look, WWE doesn't have any say in anything involving TNA. I know some of you are saying, Patrick, Shawn Michaels and Triple H don't have any say on what goes on in TNA. I know that, but they have their talent work there, so I'm pretty sure they would have a little bit of input here and there. I'm pretty sure they'll have a little bit of input here and there. Remember they showed that Carlos guy not looking very thrilled that WWE talents are taking their titles. Isn't he like the president or CEO? Isn't he like the guy that runs it? But Patrick, he's agreeing. He's agreeing to let TNA have their titles. He's just selling the story. He's just selling the story that WWE are taking over his company. Would they show Shawn Michaels? Well, let me ask you this. Would they show Shawn Michaels reacting to Mike Santana winning the NXT Championship from Ricky Starks? Would they show Shawn Michaels' reaction if someone will say, who like maybe the Iconics? Like one member of the Iconics win the NXT Women's title. But like, I can't really think of anyone, like outside of Indi Hartwell, there's not really many talent I can think of. Like I know Danny Luna, Geordie Threat, I know there's Xia Li, Xia Brookside. We'll say Xia Brookside. Like, would they show Shawn Michaels reacting to his titles being taken away? Did they show Shawn Michaels' reaction? They're being like, oh no, my NXT tag team titles have been taken away. Oh no, what is the Heartbreak Kid gonna do? I'm pretty sure they wouldn't. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't, and I'm pretty sure they didn't. Show Shawn Michaels reacting to his talent losing their titles. They probably would have more made Ava be the one that had to react. But the point is, they had this Carlos guy, who I think is like the head guy that runs the place, react to his top titles being taken away. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to have Shawn Michaels do the same thing if TNA take away their big titles. But my point is, Bound for Glory needs to end with TNA getting some momentum back, and that momentum needs to be Indi Hartwell beating Kalani Jordan clean, with no outside shenanigans, and Mike Santana beating Trick Williams clean, with no outside interference. It's time for TNA to get some momentum back. WWE have been dominating this entire story. They've been dominating this whole thing, and I think it's time for TNA to at least get something out of it. And I think that's what matters. Like, a partnership should be about sharing and giving the opportunity, sharing momentum. If WWE feel that their talent will be perfectly fine and they don't, and all that, then they should not worry if their talent lose. Again, I feel WWE wants to be the #1 product in the world, and in their eyes, they probably think if their talents lose to a secondary company in TNA, it'll make them look bad. They think it'll make them look bad if their talent loses. And that's why I felt that way throughout this entire WWE TNA story. That I feel like WWE do not want any of their talent to lose. Yes, I know Master Slamovich beat Cora Jade, but it's Cora Jade. And I love Cora Jade, but were they going to have a Roxanne Perez lose? No, they had her beat Jordynne Grace. Cora Jade was like a mid-carder that they could just throw in there and not worry about it. She was someone they could just sacrifice. She was someone they could just throw out there and say, you know what, we don't really value you. You can go out there and just take the L. So, that's how I look at it. But, like, imagine if Joe Hendry beat Ethan Page for the NXT title. Like, would they have shown Shawn Michaels' reaction if, oh my god, Joe Hendry just won the NXT title from Ethan Page? I guarantee you they wouldn't. Guarantee you they wouldn't. They would only show that Carlos guy because they want to make themselves look good. They want to make themselves the important company. But again, I feel Bound for Glory needs to end with TNA on top. Bound for Glory needs to end with TNA on top, with Hartwell and Santana, Mike Santana, yeah, that's how you say his name, both standing on top. Both of them beating the NXT talent, and they stand on top. The show ends with both of them in the ring, raising their TNA titles up, pyro goes off, and then you can have Tom Phillips say TNA has finally gotten their titles back. And TNA is feeling important again, and that's kind of how you end it. And that's kind of how you end this whole story. I feel like TNA should get their titles back. And that's my personal opinion. I think TNA should get both of their titles back at Bound for Glory, but if I know WWE, they might give Indi the win, or I guess TNA, because I feel like if I know WWE, people might think I'm accusing WWE of booking TNA's product. But if I know what's going to happen, it'll probably be Kalani Jordan beats Hartwell, either clean or outside interference. And Mike Santana probably beats Trick Williams, or it just ends with both of the TNA superstars just losing outright. So I feel like it needs to end with Indi and Santana on top. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to be greatly disappointed. Okay, Pat, but what if one of them wins and the other one loses? It's not good enough. My opinion, that's not good enough. The only thing I want is both TNA guys winning. Indi and Santana. They both bring their titles back to their company. That's how it needs to end. Bound for Glory is their biggest pay-per-view. What a better way to do it on their biggest pay-per-view of the calendar year. Come on, guys. You guys know better that TNA, if you guys have followed TNA, you know Bound for Glory is one of their, it's like their WrestleMania. It's like their WrestleMania. It's their biggest pay-per-view, and the best way to end it is to have both of their titles back in their company, with two of their top babyfaces winning their titles. I'm not saying once this happens, the partnership ends. The partnership ends. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's time to let TNA have their titles back. You can still have partnership matches. You can still have fun with partnership matches and all that, but no more trading titles. No more trading titles. You want to do showcase matches with Survivor Series style, that's fine, you can do that. Just no more switching titles around. So no more confusing your audience. Like, it just looked weird seeing Kalani Jordan, who's an NXT wrestler. It just looked silly seeing Kalani Jordan, who's an NXT wrestler, representing TNA. And she's not even a TNA wrestler. She's not a TNA wrestler, and she's representing the TNA brand. That's why I'm saying switching the titles around like this confuse your audience. Because we all know Trick Williams is an NXT star, but he's the TNA champion, so technically he will represent TNA, which he didn't. Because Santino Marella didn't trust him. But he was perfectly okay with trusting Kalani Jordan, though. But again, like, it just feels weird seeing, someone who's like Kalani Jordan, who's an NXT wrestler, And then she had to represent TNA because, oh, she's the TNA Knockouts champion. So for one night only, TNA had to borrow her as a TNA talent. And like, she was even walking with the TNA talent when they were arriving in the arena for that whole agreement that they would do a showcase. It just looked so bizarrely silly. An NXT wrestler walking with TNA talent. It just looked a bit silly, but... So that's why I'm saying Bound for Glory needs to end with Indi, Hartwell, and Santana winning their titles. Their company titles. And that's my opinion. That's my opinion, and I stand by it. Disagree, that's perfectly fine. But I think it's time for TNA to have their titles back. I think it's time for TNA to have their titles back. Time for TNA to finally have their titles back. Indi Hartwell is the right person to represent TNA. Indi Hartwell is the right babyface to represent TNA. And Mike Santana, he's their top babyface. Who better to have him? Who better to beat Trick Williams? And yeah, that's really all I've got for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you all next time. Like, subscribe for more content.